Hello everyone. In today's class, we will start with the hydrodynamics. So, it is a branch of physics that deals with the motion of fluid and the forces acting on solid bodies immersed in fluid and in motion related to them. So, this is the syllabus related to this topic. So, we can define a fluid as a continuous medium which has the property that when it is in equilibrium, there is no shearing stress at any point in the medium. So there are basically two type of fluids. One is the compressible fluid, where a stress can result in decrease in the volume of the fluid. So this is type of gases. Whereas the incompressible fluid, where the stress has no effect on the volume. So that even if you apply stress on this type of fluid, the volume remains the same. So this the examples is the liquids. So the fluid dynamics, which is the study of motion of both compressible and incompressible fluids, that is, it relates to the motion of gases as well as the liquids, whereas the hydrodynamics, which is the study of the incompressible fluids. So we'll be in this module, we will be studying about the motion of liquid samples and the different type of forces acting on the liquid and so on. So now we can define an ideal fluid. The first point is it is a steady state where the velocity, density and pressure does not change in time. That is, there is no turbulence involved. The second point is the incompressibility where it is having a constant density. The third point is it is non-viscous, that is there is no internal friction between the adjacent layers. The fourth point is it is irrotational, that is there is no particle rotation about the center of mass. There are two types of flow happening in liquids, which are the laminar and the turbulent type of flows. So as we see here, the laminar flow occurs when a liquid flows in parallel layers with no disruptions between the layers. At low velocities, the fluid tends to flow without any lateral mixing, and the adjacent layers slide past one another like playing cards. So in laminar flow, the motion of particles of the fluid is very orderly, with all particles moving in straight line parallel to the pipe walls. Each particle of the liquid passing a point has same velocity as its preceding particles. So there is no lateral mixing involved between different layers. So you can see here it is a very orderly moving of liquid, flow of liquid, and there is no intermixing happening. So this is happening at lower velocities. When the velocity of the flow increases beyond the critical velocity, it is characteristic by the chaotic property changes in the fluid. This includes the rapid variation of pressure and flow velocity in space and times. So as you see here, it is a chaotic motions where the unsteady motion which where the flow becomes zigzag so that the path and velocity of the particles changes continuously, which forms whirlpools. In contrast to laminar flow, the fluid no longer travels in layers and mixing across the tube is highly efficient. So this is happening at high Reynolds number, which we are going to discuss in the following slide. So this is happening at Reynolds number which is greater than 4000. We just seen that the flow of liquid, which is a streamline or laminar at lower velocities, but there is a characteristic velocity called the critical velocity above which the flow of liquid through the tube changes from laminar to turbulent. So this characteristic velocity, which is called the critical velocity, which depends on the coefficient of viscosity of the fluid, the density of the liquid and the radius of the tube which we are going to use. So the fluid critical velocity can be calculated using a constant, proportionality constants, which is called the Reynolds number, which is a dimensionless variable. The velocity, which is proportional to the coefficient of viscosity, and it is inversely proportional to the density of liquid as well as the radius of the tube. So the proportionality constant is called the Renaud number. So if the number, this number which is less than 2000, the flow through the channel will be laminar. If it is greater than 4000, then the flow of liquid through the tube becomes turbulent. So this is the characteristics critical velocities at this value of k. In between these two values, which is corresponds to the transition region. So you must be familiar with the term the viscosity, which is due to the viscous force. So what is the viscous force? Which is the tangential dragging force coming into play between the adjacent layers of the liquid, which tends to oppose their relative motion. So we can define the viscosity, which is the property of the liquid which gives rise to a viscous force in the liquid. So it is the measure of a fluid's resistance to flow, and it describes the internal friction of moving liquid. According to Newton's law, if A is the area of a layer in the liquid and dV by dx is the velocity gradient between adjacent layers, then the viscous force F acting on a layer is proportional to the area as well as the velocity gradients. So that is this viscous force which is proportional to the area and the velocity gradient. So that this is equal to, there is a minus sign here because the force decreases with increasing the velocity gradient. So this is equal to some minus sign into a constant eta into A dV by dx, and this eta is called the coefficient of viscosity of the liquid. So this law is applicable only when the flow is streamlined in nature, that is below the critical velocities. So we can define the coefficient of viscosity from this expression as the tangential force which required per unit area in order to maintain a unit velocity gradient normal to the flow of liquid, and its SI unit is Newton second meter raised to minus 2.